Welcome back. This is Steph from Cold Blooded Freaks, and today we have a very special episode for you. In honor of Valentine's Day, we are going to go over some of the most romantic reptiles that we feel have the most interesting courtships. To join me for this episode, again, I have my handsome meathead. He is a very old leopard gecko that has been with me for years, and I have personally seen some of his courtships in the past. Without further ado, let's get to our list. To start off, since this guy is already on the move this morning, we are going to start with leopard geckos. Leopard geckos do have some of the cutest little courtships. They tend to lick each other. They do kind of do this little tail flick, and sometimes you'll even hear them make a ruddering noise in their enclosure just to kind of pique the interest of their potential mate. In my experience with Meathead here and the girls he's been paired with, he tends to bite their neck a little bit, and that's kind of the point where the female says yes or no. The female, being receptive, tends to lift her tail and kind of squat herself down so that he can kind of go on top of her. Otherwise, I've had some females turn around and say absolutely not and give him a quick smack with their tail or even bite him back. But he definitely knows the difference between a yes and a no. Next up is the shingleback skinks. I really do find these guys so unique. They do actually look like stone with little nubby legs. They're not for everybody, but they do actually mate for life. You will see these guys in the breeding season actually paired and coupling and walking together. It's very cute. And during the off season, they will separate from each other, but they do tend to come back to each other. With the shinglebacks, the male will actually give little kisses or little licks all over the female's body. Shinglebacks are one of the only reptiles that do pair for life, which I find very interesting because you don't see that very much in the skink or the lizard world pretty much at all. But I do find it very cute for these very cute little rock-crawling little creatures. When it is the off-season for these guys, they do tend to stay a few feet away from each other, using scent trails to actually keep them close to each other so that they don't lose their partner, and that when it comes back to breeding season, they don't have to travel far to find their loved one. Next up is the panther chameleons. These guys are stunning on their own, but when it comes to breeding season, they really put out all of their colors. These guys, when they meet a female, they tend to blow out the colors that they have even brighter than normal. So if they have blues, reds, and yellows, they're really fired up at this point, and they poof up, so they look all nice and macho for their female. As they approach the female, they start doing a head bob motion that seems to speak the female's language. And if the female approves of this, she will actually keep her color dull and kind of stay still so that the male knows that what he's doing is working. And she will certainly let him know if what he's doing is not working. She will open her mouth or gape her mouth open and disapprove and try to move away. Next up is the beautiful rainbow agamas. These guys are probably more of like your gym bro kind of lizards. When approaching a female, they tend to do these very cute push-ups that bring their chest and their whole head up and down all at the same time. It's a very cute little dance that they do for the female. With their vibrant, beautiful colors, that is what they're showing off as they're doing their little push-ups. If the female does accept, she will tend to kind of arch her back a little bit, raise her head and her tail, and that tells the male that he has won her over. Last but certainly not least is probably one of the meanest looking reptiles out there, and that is the alligator. These guys probably have one of the most romantic courtships and one of the neatest ones in my opinion. For the males, they do such different things, vibrating their larynx to emit a deep growl that can be heard for miles. Also, they will slap their jaws against the water to create vibration so that the females can feel that as well in the water. I personally think that when they start vibrating the water on their backs and that growl that can be heard for many miles, I think that to us is extremely intimidating, but the fact that that calls all the girls over is very interesting. Thank you for joining us for this romantic episode. I hope you guys liked it. In the comments, feel free to let us know what you thought. Like and subscribe, and don't forget to give your loved one a little bit of a rumble, if you will. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.